What's up, everybody? Happy to be here today. We're going to talk with John, who has some questions just about like kind of stuff with eBay. This isn't specific to dropshipping, just eBay selling experience in general. And so I'm happy to talk with you about anything that you want to cover and address.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Jack, for helping me out here. What I wanted to talk about was a lot of things came out of, I'm sure you know, eBay Open 2018. And as I listened to the interpretations by other resellers, I heard that one of the major things was that you had to use free shipping and free returns. Otherwise, when people searched for items, you would be so far down on the search list, your items wouldn't show up. And then I get like an email saying your item ended, relist it, lower the price by $2 and relist it. So you go to do that, and then it tells you, it suggests, recommends that you turn on calculated shipping. And it's this mixed up message that you get saying you have to do it one way, but then you have to do it another way, or should do it another way. That's confusing to me. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and that's completely understandable, and it's kind of part of the eBay experience sometimes. When it comes to free shipping, there's a lot of different factors that affect your search ranking on eBay. So basically, like if somebody's searching for your item either shows up on the first page, second page, 100th page, right? There's a lot of different variables. You can think that there's like 50 different variables that are involved in this process. And all of the variables can either be like for you or against you. So you have a lot of photos. You have good photos. You have a good price. That kind of thing. These are for you, right? If you don't have free shipping, that's one thing against you. If you do have free shipping, that's one thing for you. The reality is that free shipping is just one of many, 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 many things that determine where a listing is going to place. Whether you want to offer free shipping or not depends more on the cost of the item. As a drop shipper, you can always do free shipping because it just doesn't you're not paying the shipping cost. Your supplier is. And while you may be paying them a cost to ship the item, most people just use free shipping as drop shippers. But if you're actually selling a physical product, you have to be really careful, because if you offer free shipping and the item is heavy, the difference in profit for your sale, if the item ships to Maryland versus California, can be huge. Like if it ships to somewhere close to you, you could maybe earn $20. But then if it ships to somewhere far away, you could lose $5. It's a very big difference. So if the item is heavy, you don't want to offer free shipping. If the item is light, it costs $4 or less to ship, then you want to offer free shipping. Just as a general rule.
Okay, that makes more sense to me. What I usually do, what I've been doing as I charge for shipping is I pick the furthest point on the West Coast that I can think of, and I use that, and I jack my price up that I want to sell it at by that amount. So I always, in my model that I'm using right now, I always go with, when I do have free shipping, I always go to the furthest point, and then I add that amount of money into what I'm selling my item for. But again, I think that's hurting me, because as I've had other individuals look at my store, and they'll say my prices are way too high. So again, I sell men's and women's clothing right now, and some electronics. And I sell books on Amazon, used books. But, to make a $10 profit on a pair of jeans, I have to sell them at $30. So everybody's telling me that's a lot of money. I wonder what you're feeling, or, what you think is a profit, a good amount of money or profit that I should be looking for as a beginner. I've only been selling since January. So I'm new to.
Are you talking about from a physical selling perspective on eBay, like just selling on eBay in general?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, because how you handle pricing if you're drop shipping versus if you're selling on eBay physically is different.
Right. Yes. I don't do any drop shipping right now.
Cool, sweet.
My question is pertaining straight to physical selling on eBay. So in order to make a $10 profit, I have to sell a pair of jeans at $30.
Gotcha. So profit, it's not as simple as you just being like, okay, all of my items will have $5 of profit. All of my items will be $10 of profit. And unfortunately, a lot of resale is about learning brands and learning about niches. So you can understand the brands that are quite valuable and people really like and want and sell really well. An example of this could be like, okay, when I sold physically on eBay, I sold Nintendo products. So I would sell old Nintendo video games like Nintendo 64 games, Super Nintendo games. One Super Nintendo game could be worth $3, while another Super Nintendo game could be worth $300. And there's a lot in between there, right? And being able to be a good reseller isn't so much about having like one pricing prop and like earning $10 from all of your items or earning $2 from all of your items. It's about being able to really understand an available market and to get good at knowing what sells quickly and what's in demand. Because if something's really in demand, you can price it a bit higher and it's still going to sell. Whereas if something's not in demand at all and you price it higher, maybe it won't sell, right? And when it comes to what you're offering in this scenario, that's one of the reasons that you don't want to use free shipping when the item is expensive to ship. In general, you want the buyer to pay for shipping in that case because inherently it's going to increase the chance that a buyer is close to the item, so they pay less. Whereas with free shipping, it's just everywhere. And this is a bit of a complicated subject, but in general, you want to make sure that if it is expensive, you're not offering free shipping.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned, sourcing items that are popular, and for the most part, I'm doing that. Except when I cleaned out my closet when I started, but I do. I look at what is popular, what's selling. I look at the sold items to judge what the prices are going for, what's selling, how soon it sells, things like that. And I do watch a lot of different videos. But, it's my sales are really bad. I mean, I'm going to go out and I'm just going to tell you, if I sell 2 items a week, that's a good week. But, again, I'm 68 years old. I'm retired. I've been retired for 11 years, and this started out as a hobby, but I'm really enjoying it. I really like it. And I want to bring in some more money. And, I would love to say that I can, maybe pick up paying a couple of the bills, per month. And that's kind of why I, purchased your course and started looking at drop shipping. It's always interested me. And so I do have some questions on that too, if you have time.
Yeah, absolutely. One recommendation, do you follow the YouTube channel Daily Refinement by chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. Cool. I was just making sure because that has way more content than mine about like actual eBay resale. I'm on a call once a week with the mastermind group from that channel, so that the guy who runs that channel hosts a group basically through his Patreon. So people can sign up for his Patreon, and then there's a call every morning at like 9 a.m. And you can participate. The most popular ones are usually like Friday, and I think like
is that the green group? Or?
I'm not sure. It's something that existed prior, and then he invited me to participate. Well, somebody in their group invited me to participate because of the YouTube content.
Okay.
And just as a quick side note, if you are trying to get into this and learn about this, I strongly encourage you to try and find people who are in a similar position as you. And there are a lot of people who get into resale for retirement reasons. Like that is a big subset of individuals. So you absolutely will be able to find these other people. But if you can find just a couple of them and meet with them every 2 weeks or every month, whatever, and just talk about what you're going through and just ask them questions and they'll ask you questions, this is one of the best ways to actually learn something and stick with it.
Okay. That sounds great. Thank you. I will write that down. Thanks. The people I watch, I started out with Rockstar Flipper. Yeah, and right now it's who else do I follow? Bonafide Hustler. Do you know Chris?
Yeah, a little bit. I recognize the names of the YouTube channels, but I don't follow them too closely, unfortunately.
So I watch their videos, and then there's another guy that's he's down in Virginia, and Jim Butler knows a lot about men's suits, men's clothing, and I started watching him. Just I get the bolos from them, but I wondered how you felt about this. There are people out there that will not purchase something unless they know they can make a $30 gross profit, and I'm like, how do you decide where you want to set your profit level on an item? Is that something that is done, or?
Well, that's a decision that can be made once you have the experience to understand what profitable items are, what they look like, how to acquire them, and all these things. It's very tricky to just jump into the game and be like, I'm only going to buy stuff that I can sell and earn $100. Like,
right.
That is something that people focus on, though. And I will say that it is much more fun when stuff actually is selling, even if you're not earning a whole lot. So like $2 to $4 of profit from something may sound like nothing, but if you're just trying to get experience and learn, really any kind of profit is good, because then you get the sale under your belt, you learn, and you can try and experiment.
Yeah. Right. I'd like to reach that point where I can actually go to sleep at night and not lay there listening for my phone to go cha-ching. So I'd like to reach that point. So talking about the drop shipping, I wanted to ask you about, is it okay to start off with like one item instead of like multiple different kinds of items? But if I was going to do drop shipping and do it, would I do that in my current eBay store, or would you suggest having a different eBay store?
I would suggest having a different store, just because eBay allows you to drop ship, but they will mark you as a drop shipper and then push non-drop shippers listings before yours. So it's kind of like it's tricky. There are situations where like physical sellers have been selling a bunch of stuff, and then they start drop shipping and they sign up for a software or whatever, and their account gets flagged, and then like their sales go down because they get less traffic. So in general, it's good to use another account, and you don't have to make it like a fancy stealth account or anything. You can just have it be linked to you, because that account being marked as a drop shipper isn't necessarily going to flag everything else. Whereas if you got banned or in trouble, then you would lose both the accounts. But again, drop shipping isn't against eBay policy. It's just a more risky way to sell on eBay.
I see. And going back to the first part of the question, like one item, is that okay to start off with, and to test the waters? Yeah,
it's okay to start that way. So like, say that you post one item and you expect to get some kind of results out of that, it's not okay to operate that way. But say that you post one item, you're looking at the results, and then you post like 4 or 5 new ones, and then you look at the results and you replace those with 4 or 5 different ones, and you look at the results and replace those. And if you're working with the listings, it is possible to get sales from a small amount of listings. Like, there absolutely are dropshipping eBay stores that make thousands of dollars every month, and they only have like 40 items. It's absolutely possible. You do have to put a lot of time into the research and like the sniping, all the stuff necessary to be able to make that happen. It's really important that you understand Cassini and all of the factors that it looks at and how things rank on eBay. One of the most important things here is that when it comes to drop shipping, most of the profit that these like big drop shippers earn doesn't come from just a ton of items selling, a ton of different items. They usually have a handful of items that resell super, super regularly. Once a listing has established that like it's selling multiple times, you know, you've seen those listings that say like 37 sold, 6,000 sold, that kind of thing. Even when competitors come in, it's really hard to rank against that, because whenever an item sells, it gets pushed up in search results. And that's one of the best ways to get the item pushed up in search results. So there's strategies that you can use where you would have like a break-even profit margin or something. Get the item to sell 5 or 6 times, and then make it like a couple dollars a profit, that kind of thing.
I see.
It absolutely is possible to just have a couple listings and make money. It's also possible to have, you know, thousands of listings and make money without spending a whole lot of time. It's really just about what you're trying to go for and how much you educate yourself. Don't let anybody tell you that like one way is shit and this way is better. Because the reality is, if you get the right information and you talk to the right people, you can do pretty much any method profitably. It's just a matter of learning what works for that method.
I see. Gotcha. You mentioned Cassini, I think it was?
Yeah.
Is that the search algorithm?
Yeah, that's the name of eBay's search algorithm.
Okay, is that a published algorithm, or is that...
eBay doesn't work that way. I've often heard, we would love to share that information, but because it would be abused, we cannot share it with you. And I kind of feel like it's going to be abused regardless, and you know, you should just make it incredibly inconvenient and hard to abuse your system so that you can share all the information so that everyone knows what they're working with. But that's a separate note.
Gotcha. So, is it a good idea or not a good idea? Like to, I don't know how I want to ask this. Is it better to sell an item that costs $100 or start off with items that cost, I don't know, $5?
In general, the cheaper the item is, the less likely you are to have problems with it, because the buyer is going to be less attached to that money. When the items are more expensive, there's a correlation of higher return rates, higher cases, these kind of things. Gotcha. So that's also where more money is, though. So when you have higher priced products, it's higher risk, higher profit. But you need stability in order to be able to handle that, right? And depending on your cash flow, that factors in things a lot. Like when somebody's trying to learn how to dropship from a foreign country like Israel or Morocco, then it's really important that they start off with like $5, $7, $15 products maybe, because they have to deal with all this cash flow problems and other such things. Whereas if you're in the States and you're older, you got some money, then like, you know, it's not the end of the world if someone returns your product and suddenly there's $200 not in your PayPal account, because, you know, you're probably going to be all right. You can work around that. You can resell the item. It's going to be okay. So it really depends on the context of the situation.
Right. The way I've been running my business is I haven't touched any of the house money at all. Even to start, I had some gift certificates I had gotten for Christmas, and that's how I started off, you know, with the lighting and the camera and all that. But it just, I don't touch any of the house money. So anything that I've made in sales on eBay, that just sits in PayPal, and I source my items, and you know, I pay for them out of the PayPal, but I don't take any money at all from PayPal other than to buy resources to sell.
Gotcha.
And conversely, I don't use any of the house money at all.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I can't get into that. I used to snipe stocks, and and that worked really well until I became visible to the stock brokers. But yeah, I lost some money, so I don't touch house money anymore.
That's smart. For what it's worth, there is another form of dropshipping, which you might want to look into. So what most people do now is called retail arbitrage, or it's a form of retail arbitrage. And we're taking advantage of the fact that places like Amazon and Walmart can ship products pretty quickly. There are suppliers that you can work with to get dropshipping arrangements. And this is what eBay actually prefers that you do. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because, honestly, I think it's less competitive. There's not as many people doing it. I don't have any experience with it myself, but I just know that the whole world has access to retail arbitrage. Anybody in any country can sell items from Walmart on eBay US. Literally anybody with an internet connection. Whereas when it comes to working with these dropshippers, these dropshipping suppliers, few people are willing to even like make that relationship step. It's less convenient, and because of that, that's a good indication that it's less competitive. And especially because most people who, like, what's interesting about eBay is that there's these kind of 3 different branches that I'm aware of. There's like these traditional dropshippers, there's retail arbitrage dropshippers, and then there's physical sellers on eBay. And very few of these groups communicate with one another. It's very interesting how selective they are, because most people who physically sell on eBay do not dropship. Most people who dropship do not physically sell on eBay. Most people who dropship with like online arbitrage have never established a relationship with a supplier. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I can see that. I wonder why it is that way. I mean, I would be open to, if I knew more, I would be open to doing it and conversing with all different avenues. Retail arbitrage, that's interesting to me also. I've seen where like Reezy resells, he sells, you know, books, shoes, whatever, but I think it was him. Somebody went into like was it a Walmart? No, not a Walmart. A Marshall's maybe, bought tons of shoes in boxes at a really good price, and then, you know, listed them on Amazon. And but that wasn't, he didn't make, or they don't make a partnership or something with somebody that's selling the shoes or whatever it is. They just go in and they buy them at a lower price and they sell them at a higher price. Did I just talk in a circle on you? I'm sorry.
No, that's physical resale typically. It's a form.
Yeah.
So physical resale and dropshipping are both forms of retail arbitrage when you're doing that. If you're going to like if you're making something yourself and selling it on eBay, that's not retail arbitrage. If that makes sense.
Right. Yep. I got it. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually, I make belts, and I was thinking about selling those. I make leather belts. Been doing that for years. I was thinking about selling them.
Have you ever heard of Poshmark or Mercari?
Yeah, I had. I got only a couple things listed on Poshmark, but you know, I kind of made a decision. I don't want to sell on multiple platforms until this is just how I am personally. I want to be able to not conquer, but I want to be able to totally understand, if anybody ever can, understand eBay and their systems and be successful on eBay. And then I would spread out. I know that if I cross-listed like, you know, so many people are doing right now, I would probably have more sales.
But you want to be more comfortable with eBay before you start looking more into that?
I think so, because
that makes sense.
Number one, I just don't have the brains, right? You know, it's sold here. Oh, I got to remember to take it off of here and here and here and here. You know, I don't have that. So no, I want to learn one thing or one. I want to learn eBay. And I want to learn everything I can do with eBay, and I want to be successful at it. And then maybe I'll look at other things.
I strongly encourage you to, in order to stay in the game in the long run, the thing that increases your chance of that happening the most is being part of some kind of group where you meet on a regular basis and do calls like this. That is super, super helpful. It's just like, it makes you part of a team of people, which is inherently how humans perform better. And I strongly, strongly encourage you to try and make that happen.
Okay. That I can do. I will do that. Let's see. Let me just look at my notes, see if I had any more questions. Do you still have time? Or?
Yeah. I'll keep talking to you as long as you got questions.
Okay. See, I had written a few things down. I wrote down my history. I didn't know if you were going to ask that.
Yeah, it depends. Some of the calls, if it's obviously like a question and answer call, then I'll do that. If it's supposed to be an interview, I don't really like the word interview because people get stressed, and like it's better to just have a conversation usually, so that the people like, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I just wanted to mention that, you know, I'm sorry to hear everything you're going through, but I just applaud the way that you're handling it. And, you know, again, I think I did this in writing in a message, but I want to wish you luck in whatever endeavor you choose. Or however
Thank you.
go.
I really appreciate the support.
Yeah. Well, you know, I only follow certain people. I don't follow people that they want to sell you the way to do something in a big way, you know, like join this, you know, give me $600, $700 a year and I'll tell you how to do it. I don't follow those people. I follow the people that are sincere and are not trying to make a ton of money off of you, and they want to share their success with you. I know nothing should be free, I guess, but just
it is nice when it's affordable.
Well, yeah. So, I don't know. That's just the way I am. When I know something, I share it. You know, I know something that works, I share it.
If you share the information you find, then you get every answer to every problem in your life. If you keep information to yourself, then you don't get every answer to every problem, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I retired, one of the things I did was I repair people's computers for free. And that was very rewarding for me, and I met so many people doing that. And it was a lot of fun. I did it for a couple of years.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It kept me busy, kept my mind busy. But now, I wanted to do this, and I was trying to think on how this came about, how selling on eBay came about for me, and I can't remember. Isn't that sad? I don't know how it happened. I think I was watching a YouTube video, and that's how I got into this. One video, and it got me going on it.
I got into dropshipping because some random person saw a course on, or a friend of mine, not a random person. He randomly messaged me and just sent me a link to this course about eBay dropshipping, and I was like, what the fuck's dropshipping? And I took it, and I was like, shit, this is exactly what I want to do right now. But it was just like some random person reaching out. It's funny how, if we all had access to all of the information that's available right now, our lives would all be way better. It's funny how often, like, you just have to learn that something's possible, or that it even exists, or that it's a thing, and then it can be a big turning point.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, for sure. So I think that's probably all the questions I have right now. And I can't think. I don't want to lose you just yet, just in case there's something else.
I do have one suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead.
One other thing that you might want to consider is commission sales. So if this is something that's particularly lucrative, if you have access to some kind of network of people in your life, where you can they know that you sell stuff. So they get a new phone, and their old phone, they don't need it anymore, but they know you have an eBay account and you'll sell it for them. I encourage people to do this kind of work because it has the benefits of drop shipping, because it's very easy to have the kind of relationship where, like, people give you stuff, you post it, it sells, you wait for a return to happen if not, and then you give them their cut of the money. And it's great because you don't need like upfront capital. As long as you're working with people that you're like, they trust you and you talk in person to them and you're personable, then like they're going to understand like, okay, the item's got to get shipped and then we got to wait like a week or two to make sure there's no problems. Makes sense. It's something I really encourage people to look into because that was the best money for me physically selling on eBay compared to the amount of time spent. Just because, like, there were times, one time my friend's dad needed to sell his iPhone. And it sold for, like, a couple, like, $400 or $500, something like that. And they gave me $100. And it was just, like, took 15 minutes to list it and ship it. Like,
that was nice.
You know? And it's like, you want to be known as that person in a community. Because then you just get these random days where it's like, oh, you earned $100 today. Cool. Like, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. I have been given what's happening is people tell me, oh, I have this and I have that, and I'll say, well, you know,
yeah, you got to be picky.
Yeah, I know. You know, I say, you know, if you want, I'll sell it for you, and well, they end up giving it to me, and I say, well, I'll give you money when I sell it. No, it's yours. It's just taking up room in my house, and I'm like, oh, okay. Except I do have right now for sale on Craigslist a set of conga drums for like, what is it, $2,500.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're really awesome. One of my friends, their son played for years and years and years, but now he doesn't have time, so they're selling them. Really nice drums. Dude,
there are people who earn loads of money, and they're just the commission seller for a group of wealthier individuals, and they're all like high ticket items. You know, like if you sell one $2,000 item, and you even if you only get like 5 or 10% of that profit, like it's a lot of money. And you know, especially if you can list something in like 10 minutes, like it's great.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's a great idea. I can probably do a lot more of that. My network would be just all the friends that I've made in all these years, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll even mention it out more. I have to find a way to market myself more than just at dinner parties.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I will. Let's see. That's all I had for questions right now. I'd like to be able to, you know, keep the channel open with you if it's okay. Or
yeah, I'm always down. As long as I can record it, I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. I know you mentioned that you like brief in messaging, so you know, if I sound abrupt, it's just going to be I'm going to ask you the questions and leave off the fluff around the edges of it.
Yeah, okay? I don't think I'm even capable of being bothered by abruptness in messaging anymore. Like, I've just been so overwhelmed by it that it's just I don't worry about it at all.
I can imagine. You think you're going to head back to Nicaragua, or you're going to hang around?
No, it looks like I'm moving back to Nicaragua. That's the plan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. My son was in Nicaragua for a little while. He was a mathematics teacher in a private school, and every summer he would take students to a different country to work. You know, build houses, fix some churches. But in Nicaragua, I think what he did, he helped build a school, and I can't remember exactly where in Nicaragua, but he loved it there. And he sent some beautiful pictures home.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. So it's, from what I see, it's a very nice country.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there now, but I mean, most of Latin America is beautiful. It's got like there's beaches and volcanoes and mountains and sun, and it's you know, very beautiful.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of hardship, and you know, like for me. That it doesn't really matter a whole lot because, like, my dad's dead. I've already seen death. And for me, like, what matters is the people that I love and the people I feel a family connection with. And those people are in Nicaragua. So they're living through this. They still have their jobs. They're they're able to be okay, and I want to be with them. So I don't know. I all I know about the situation going on there now is that my friends are able to function in society at the moment.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what I'd go off of the basis.
Yep. And we have a lot in common, you and I, as far as our lives. And I know I'm a lot older, but I never stayed in one place very long, but I always gravitated towards people like myself, and because I don't like being around negativity, and I like people that like adventures. And so all of the careers I've had in my life, which have been many, I look at them as adventures. Everything is an adventure. So when I get laid off after 5 years at work in some place, it didn't bother me at all, because it just opened up a new adventure.
Next chapter. Yeah. So let's do an interview then at another point, because that sounds awesome, man. Like I would absolutely love to ask you about all these things. I can't even fathom what a human can go through in 80 years. Like, jeez, that's insane.
If I can ask, how old are you?
Oh yeah, I'm 25.
Are you 25?
Yep.
That's great. You got such a long time to experience so much more. I have two sons. I have my older son is 35. My younger son is 33. My Chris is the oldest son. He's a prison guard. He's a real estate agent, and he also buys on his own. He buys apartment buildings and rents them out. And
through like Airbnb.
No, he just bought about a month ago. He bought a building that has 3 apartments in it, and so he rents them out. Those apartments just rented out.
Gotcha.
He doesn't live there. So yeah, he does that. He's like an entrepreneur. He said to me the other day, "Dad, how come you don't offer to go into business with me and give me the money, for a down payment or whatever to buy another building?" And I said, because that way you can say, and I mean this, I don't think you should go into business with your family, but I said that way, in a few years you can say, I did this all by myself, and using his own money and not borrowing.
Yeah, you weren't made.
Yeah, so he's self-made. My other son, Matthew, he's a lot like me. He just up and left. He was a school teacher at the private school, mathematics, 6 years. They asked him to change a grade so a boy could go to college and play basketball. He got upset, left, and he came home. He said, he didn't live with me. He owns a condo to where I live, and near where I live. And he said, yeah, I'm going to move to Washington, D.C. I said, why Washington, D.C.? He said, well, that's what my favorite baseball team is. So he went down, he got an apartment without a job, got an apartment right across from the Washington Nationals baseball stadium. He's like right across the street. And he found a job within 2 weeks, and now he's a top salesman. I don't know where he got this. He's a top salesman at a company called Power. Last year he did $2.5 million in volume.
It's a lot.
Selling replacement windows and roofing and siding. And he loves it.
That's cool.
I don't know where he got that, but yeah. So anyways, I could go on all night. So yeah, if you ever want to do an interview, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'll stay in touch.
Yeah. All right, great. Jack, thank you so much. This has been great. You gave me some really good things to think about, and you gave me some direction, and I really appreciate that.
No worries, man. Always here if you need it.
All
Ciao.
right, thanks, Jack. Yep, ciao.